Well, I told the kids I was really pleased with the way that they practiced today. It's Wednesday. You're 3 weeks or the third week of camp, and you're getting ready to finish up the camp part and head to game prep stuff, and it's hard. I mean, we had a very physical practice on Monday. We had a very good shells practice yesterday. And so, really kind of challenge them to not have a letdown today. Just really pleased. We've stacked together 3 solid days in a row this week, just as far as the way we compete. Had a variety of different situations today. Did some tempo stuff. Did some progression stuff during the team period where you just kind of play the ball, live spot it in certain situations. And I thought we handled it really well. I think we're executing just a little bit better both sides of the ball every day. So pleased with where we sit right here today, and just want to finish up the week really good, and finish up camp on Saturday, and then start getting ready for our opener.
C.J. Johnson in the past maybe missed some practice time with little stuff here there. It seems like he's been out there most of the camp. How is he coming along?
I think he's had the best camp that he's had since I've been here, and I think there's lots of reasons for that. I mean, I think his freshman year, he's a true freshman, and I'm just telling you, and it's even more that way now. The freshman, it's a reality shock, out there on the field. Last year we had the pandemic. They weren't here all summer, they weren't here all spring, so this is the first year that he's had a whole summer of training, and he's in the best shape he's been in. I mean, he's down under 220. He's running very well. He's really matured, and I think he's having a really good camp.
Kind of on the other side of the defensive backfield, there's so many names and older guys from Saba to Ford.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, how is that kind of sorting out as far as some of the leaders during practice and stuff?
Well, I mean, I think it's been great because you've had so much competition. I mean, it's really pushed. You can't go out there and take a day off. I mean, if you go out there and you're not on it, you'll look up the next day and you'll be down the totem pole. So I do think it has caused them to push each other. And I think that there's so many guys that are playing their best ball right now. Juwan Powell's one that just really stands out to having an outstanding camp. And it's, he's a third-year guy. And, he had some issues when he was young, but just, his maturity and just his competitive spirit. Warren's the steady old guy back there, and he's the guy that he knows the defense. He can play any of the 3 safety spots, and that's something that's a luxury to have a guy that has that kind of experience. And that kind of handle on the scheme. So I think that they're all pushing each other and making each other better.
Your backup quarterbacks seem to be getting a good grasp of what's going on. It's how it looks from the sideline. Talk about their progress as you head into the last couple of weeks here.
Well, I think it depends on what day it is. Some days I think they do, and some days, it frustrates me. But I think that all 3 of the guys that are competing for the 2 have shown flashes that they can handle the job. And then, all 3 have done things that frustrate you. So I think that, the next 2 days, and Saturday especially, is a big day towards deciding who that guy is.
You guys are obviously always competing, but would you like kind of those spots on the depth chart to be pretty much decided after the scrimmage going into that preparation?
Yeah, and I mean, quarterback's a little bit different, but we have so many positions, and running back is the best example. Where you've got 2 starters. You got 2 guys that I would, if you give me my pick of everybody in the conference, those are the 2 I'd take. Okay, and one of them's not the starter, and the other one's the backup. They're both starters, and we have so many positions on both sides of the ball that are exactly like that. Corner is another one. I feel like you have J-Mac, you have Malik, and you have Nolan, that all 3 are starters. And DeMel has really come on and pushed there also. So I think that, I want some things decided, but I don't know that you're going to sit here and say you got 11 on this side and 11 on the other side, and that's it, because you have so much more depth than what we've had the past several years.
How have you seen Xavier Smith progress through camp as he's trying to figure out, that D-line spot?
Well, he's always played, always. Before I got here, he played tight end his freshman year. He's played inside linebacker for us the last 2 years, so he's playing the stand-up outside linebacker, for us during camp. He's a guy that's going to play, a lot of different places this year. We still rep him at inside linebacker. We just happen to have some depth there. But, as we get into some of our packages and stuff, he's a guy that's going to be very, very important. Now, it does put a lot of stress on him. It challenges him to, number one, he's got to really understand the scheme well, and he's got to be focused every snap, because it's not something where this is his third year doing it, and it just comes old hat. So I do think it stressed him. I do expect him to be, one of our best defenders. I expect him to be one of the leaders of our defense, and I expect him to be an impact player. I don't care what position he's playing.
When you got here, Coach, guys didn't talk on the field. There was no line of communication that
Right.
really happened. And now it's constant.
Right.
Every position on the field, too deep,
Right.
guys are calling out things. How did you develop that as a head coach?
Well, they're either coached to do it or they're allowed to do it. That's the deal. And the kids, for the most part, they'll do what you demand of them, because they want to win. They want to be great. And so it's a whole thing of, communicating to them the importance, showing the importance, but then demanding it from them during practice. Everybody hears the music at practice. Well, yeah, it adds some energy. But the other thing is it forces them to communicate like it's going to be in Charlotte, like it's going to be September 11th here. It's going to be loud, both places. Okay, it forces them to use verbal signals and hand signals, and it forces them to get a reaction. We always say you give a signal, you get a signal. That way you know that your teammate got the communication. And I think it's just something that our coaches have done a good job of just really demanding of them, and then the kids demand it of themselves.
When you look at the last scrimmage from the weekend and this second one, is there anything you want to see different or the same, or as far as transitioning those two things?
Well, I think I'd like to see better execution. I would like to see the intensity level at a higher level, and then I just like to see our guys that I know are guys, play like guys. The guys that are going to be our playmakers, I want to see them make those plays. So I just think it's a challenge to see us play, the way I know we are, and we're going to try to get everybody working. So you're going to see the frontline guys in there, and you're going to see some of the depth guys in there. So I think it's for a young guy like Pop McKay, this is different than anything he's ever done in his life, and it's to the point when we did inside run today, and I'm telling you, that ain't for the faint of heart. Now they are striking each other. It's the way I wanted it to be. When I got here, I talked about it when I took the job, and it was a dang pillow fight, and it ain't that way anymore. And so for a guy like him, now Saturday's so important because it's going to be the closest it's going to be to a game situation, so that when he steps foot on the field, whenever it is, whether it's down in Charlotte or later on in the season, when he steps foot on the field, he's prepared to be successful. And so I think these live situations, whether it's a session of practice or that scrimmage on Saturday, are so important for those young kids.
Talking about C.J. stringing together practices, Ram Seward kind of the same boat where he's missing time with practice. He's practiced pretty well, it seems like.
He's been out there. I'm really pleased with the linebacker core, period. I think Bruce, Miles, and Aaron, all three older guys, experienced guys, that's what gives us the flexibility with Xavier. I think Taylor Jackson is coming along. But, Aaron has, instincts and has that quick twitch that you can't really coach that stuff, So it's been good to have him out there to get the reps and be prepared. And, it was tough when we lost him, our first year there in the middle of the year. He was just starting to play well. And so I hope that just having a good preseason, will enable him to have a fast start to the regular season. Anything else? All right, thanks a lot.
Jeremy, you're obviously playing defense now, and that's kind of what you're initially recruited to do. So how good is it to be back on that side of the ball?
It's amazing. It's just everything feels natural. Like I was learning when I was playing offense, and now when I switched over to defense, a lot of stuff was like natural. Like, okay, I know how to do this. I know how to do that. I was more used to running out the ball and not like short and quick and choppy steps, learning how to block. So it felt good. It felt natural, and I feel like I'm in my right state of mind now.
Does your knowledge of offense a couple of years, does that help you at all?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Certain formations and, well, it's really for our offense, I have to cover up my ears sometimes because I know what's coming, but certain formations, doubles, trips, tight end, personnel, you know what's coming. You can alert. We got different alerts, alert pass, alert run, so it helps out and it helps my team out a lot.
How have these scrimmages kind of helped you? I know you had an interception Saturday as well. Does it feel like a game, especially for you when you're kind of bracing for a big role?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like when I'm in the scrimmages, it's like my first real back to defense since I was in high school. First action versus like live contact. So it helps me a lot. It helps me get in the groove, like get some of the jitters out. Okay, now first scrimmage I realized, oh snap, I'm back on defense now. So I mean, the first scrimmage I got all those jitters out, but now I feel like I'm back to normal. I'm good.
Your excitement level has to be really high coming into this situation. Now you're back on defense. Talk about how you feel when, you know, the anticipation of this season not far away.
I mean, it's right around the corner. We just got to lock in, you know, like I don't have that many years left here, so every play, every snap, every down matters now. I mean, September 2nd is right around the corner, so we just approaching it as we would approach any other game. The next game is the most important game, so I'm just ready to play.
What's been the toughest part of transition to defense?
The toughest part, probably the playbook.
Yeah.
Probably the playbook. You got different assignments that you have to do for each play, whereas on offense, you go out and do your assignment. So like I got to do a lot of reaction, a lot of, if he blocks me this way, I have to do this. If he blocks that way, I got to do this. When on offense, I was just, bam, you kick him out, you kick him out. You run this route, you run this route. So mainly the playbook.
You go against probably Bailey Malik a lot in practice and some of those offensive tackles. What are those battles like in the trenches when you're trying to use your hands?
This is good. Bailey got real strong hands, so trying to get his hands off you, that's one of the pluses. Noah Henderson, he got good feet, so it's like he's patient with his hands and uses his feet a lot. So you gotta be smart when you're going up against those guys. Those guys are pretty good. So I love getting in that competition, especially doing one-on-ones. Yeah, I see like, you know, one of the walk-ons or somebody lower in the depth chart step up. Hey, Noah, can I get a rep real quick? And we'll step up, compete, dap it up, and then just go about our day.
As a veteran player, and you've been here a few years, what would you say the biggest change is from when you started and when you got here for this upcoming season?
Almost definitely the locker room and the environment. Coach Houston has switched things around a lot. Like my brother actually played here before I got here, so I was able to see things that happened, and he was able to tell me things that happened that would not fly with Coach Houston. So it's really big on the locker room, the environment, and the brotherhood that we got here now.
C.J., we were talking to Coach Houston. He thinks this is your best preseason you've put together. Do you agree with that? How do you think it's going?
Oh man, I think I put in the work over summer, and I feel like our team as a whole put in the work over the summer to come into fall camp and dominate it.
You also mentioned at this point in camp that, you know, you kind of feel the season's close and that type of thing. And you kind of have to grind through it a little bit. What is that like, especially middle of the week, you know, today?
Well, I mean, it's always a grind in football. Football is year round. We play 12 games a year, but we're preparing for those 12 games all year round. Fall camp is, that's important. But we look at the first game. We take one game at a time.
Well, this was your first summer camp that you actually gone through full, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How would you think that you've developed most through that camp?
Oh man, I feel like I've just learned so many life lessons from football, just like from the off season, like from taking care, how important it is to taking care of your body, to how important it is to performing on the field, and most importantly, performing as a team, as a whole, as one unit. Because like they say, championship teams are led by the players, not the coaches.
Seems like you're obviously leaner this year. What are you weighing now, and how much does that help you?
I'm at a solid 217 right now. Last year, around this time, we came back from quarantine. I was 236, lost 20 pounds in a year, so feeling slim and trim.
So what's that do for you?
Oh man, I feel better on the field. Like I can move better, move faster.
A lot of the attention is gone to Rajay and Keaton, kind of that running back combo. What do y'all feel as receivers working with them, the potential of this offense?
Oh man, the potential this offense can have is through the roof. We have so many weapons. We have Tyler Snead, we have Adio Matosha, we have Rajay Harris, Keaton Mitchell. We got even our backups like Tyler Savage. You got Andre Pegues. Like everybody on offense make plays.
Does that feel different, I guess, from the last year or two? I mean, is there more kind of just excitement, you think, around it? Or?
I mean, I don't think it was any difference in the years. Like we've always had talent. We just never exposed that talent. We never reach our full potential. And I feel like ourselves, that was our fault. Like we were holding ourselves back. It was never an opponent that was better than us. Like,
How do you feel about the chemistry between the wide receiving core and Holton is right now?
oh man, we just over the summer with all the skill development work and everything, like the receivers have built a good connection with Holton. Like he don't just have a connection with me. He has a connection with all of them. Like he grabs all of them to the side and talks to them the same way he talks to me. Like there's no put me above anybody. Like we all have connections with them. We all have to make plays.
You played together in high school, correct?
Yes, we're going on 6 years together.
6 years together.
Yes, sir.
And how much has you guys kind of grown together and pushed each other?
Oh man, the way he pushes me at practice, like getting rid of all my bad habits and stuff, and like the ways I push him at practice, like we just make each other better. We feed off each other. When one of us have energy, we feed off of it.
What's your relationship like with the secondary at this point in camp?
They like to get a little feisty at practice, but at the end of the day, when we come in the locker room, we're a brotherhood. On Saturdays, we're all gonna be in the same jersey. So I mean, iron sharpens iron.
Jaquan McMillan, he's pretty much an all-conference corner. So, like, what are those battles like when you're going against?
Oh man, I tell people all the time, I face the best defense every week. So that means that makes the games easy. Like if I'm battling a all-conference cornerback every week, I feel like I could beat anybody.
What's the toughest thing to deal with him? I mean, you're obviously a bigger guy.
Oh man, it's just we match up with each other so much. Like I know his move, he knows my move, so it's like you got to throw in a curveball every now and then.
Right in practice, Coach Houston mentioned the music is for y'all to have fun, obviously, but also the crowd factor. You know, how does that kind of work? I know y'all like to dance and enjoy it, but there's some teaching moments.
Yeah, and practice, like the music, yeah, like, boys like to dance to it, but we usually dance to it when we're not running a rep. But it's all to simulate the noise. Like when we're getting the plays from the sideline, it's signaled in. Like we can't hear them call to play, so like we all have to look at the signals. So like the music is there for that reason, like just to simulate the crowd, and like this is what it's gonna sound like on game day. Like it's just not gonna be music, but it's gonna be cheering. But like you're not gonna be able to hear anything, no outside noise.
You've heard Dowdy packed 50,000. How excited are you about that?
Oh man, I can't wait. Let them cannons boom, man.